I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good morning and welcome to Curling Stadium and Championship Monday here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. We're at the Swift Current Curling Club. I'm Jim Nix and I'm going to be joined today by Olivier. He is handling everything today, so he'll be in and out a little bit, but we appreciate having him along. And we are going to be covering the quarterfinal matchup between Mike McEwen of Saskatoon and Brent Pierce of New Westminister, BC. Brent will certainly have his handful. McEwen is one of the hottest teams in the country, I believe. So it should be a great game. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Should be quite the game here. And obviously it's a do-or-die situation for all the teams on the ice. So pressure's on here. It's the quarterfinals.
Yeah, for sure. And the good news is that it is win or go home, but you are going to cash at least some sort of a check here today. So that's the good news, but everybody would like to get to the big check, not so much the little check. So
Definitely.
We are underway. McEwen with hammer here in the first. We're not sure if he got it by virtue of his finish in the A side, which I would expect would be the case, or if it was on the draw to the button. But regardless, he does have hammer here in the first end.
It's looking like a pretty open end in here in the first.
Yeah, it seems a tradition, although I will say yesterday, I think I did 4 games yesterday, and most of them, the teams got at it pretty early. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. This one could over curl and not catch anything. Might get it out. Fortunate to get it out. Underthrown a bit, I think, for the first end. Probably could use a little more weight than that.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see McEwen just going straight for the peel here. Obviously playing the house wide open.
Yeah, that one's pretty close to the rings too. It could easily split it on and force him to one, so he doesn't want that to happen. Mike does a lot of his talking with his broom. Waves it around quite a bit. So it's fun to watch when he's calling shots. It's like, well, I don't know what's going on, but because we don't hear, we can only go by the broom moves and what we expect to be the shot call. And it makes it a challenge at time, but regardless. Second stone for Pierce. Cody Johnson now. It's not a team that travels the country. Going to get this to the center. And this will give us a real indication how McEwen wants to play this first end, and up he goes. So definitely looking for a blank end here.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have a very hard time getting that blank, but it's going to be a bit of cat and mouse for this first end.
Went curling a little bit, but he should still be okay. And he is. The Marsh brothers on the front end here. For McEwen.
It's really quite fun to see at this level, at this at these events. They're relatively big events, but they're not tour events. So you get to see these teams that maybe aren't keen to travel across Canada, but still are quite a force to reckon with regionally. So it's pretty cool to see the different teams playing each other at this level, right?
Yeah, it is. And you're right. This one's got a great field of Canadian teams and top Canadian teams. Just it misses the international flavor because they're all playing overseas and getting ready for Christmas, I'm sure. But it's but exactly, it does open the door for some, well, for lack of a better terms, for the tier 2 teams and teams that are very, very good. We just don't see them very often. So Colton Flash now. Walking away. Be confident. Third for Pierce is Matthew Blanford.
Again, playing it pretty open. Both teams just trying to get a handle on the ice. Pierce doesn't seem too worried about the blank either, so I'm sure we'll see a little more rocks in play in the second. Depending on, if McEwen does want to stir the pot a little bit. Some teams are real happy playing quite wide open up until the end sometimes. So
Yeah. Yeah, Pierce's games are relatively low scoring as well. He started and finished with wins over Knapp. So he went 4-2 in the event, so he has played a lot of games. Beat Knapp 3-2 in the first one, and beat Brad Gushu. So in between those two games, he beat Knapp twice. But in between there, he played some great teams. He played Carruthers. Oops, sorry about that. I don't usually have that on. I was on the phone earlier, but regardless, so he played Gushu, Carruthers, and Jacobs, and the local favorite and up and coming very good team in Ryland Cleater in between those games, which he won 2 and lost 2 of those. So it's been a long weekend already for Brent Pierce. No turn hit. And he will hit it on the nose as well.
saving some time, even though they're not necessarily timed games with time clocks. McEwen already down there.
Yeah, it's not so bad because there's been some long ones, Olivier. It's like,
oh, that's true.
It's been the teams have taken full advantage of the no time clock thing for sure. A lot of games are taking 2.5 hours to play, and
yeah, it's not uncommon this weekend.
Brent Pierce I haven't seen Brent's name around a lot in recent years, and he's into his mid-50s now, so well into the senior ranks, but playing with a really young squad here. Used to see him a lot. Has pretty decent success playing out of BC. With
this nose hit, we'll see McEwen probably throwing a high hard one, rolling out and getting that precious blank he wanted.
Yeah, and probably set a record for the fastest first end we've had all week.
It's barely been 10 minutes.
Yeah. And will he roll out? He will. So a really quick first end here at Swift Current, and we will have a 0-0 tie after one end. McEwen retain hammer as we come back for the second end.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics. Better returns. Greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you.
It was fine. That was exactly right. So we're back for end number 2 here. McEwen, as we said, retaining hammer by blanking the first end. Trying to throw a corner guard up there, but Marsh slid into the rings there. Simple thing, but it certainly does change the direction of an end, even just when one of the two guard draws flows into the rings. You know, you still get a chance to throw that center guard if you want to, but.
And this goes back to really how important these lead stones are. You know, maybe people at home or people playing at an amateur level will tend to think that we'll put the guy that can throw maybe a subpar rock at lead because he doesn't have much impact on the game. But no, this is especially at this level, you need 4 really, really good people. You can't afford to miss any single shot, and most of the time the first 2 rocks decide the whole end. So
you're exactly right on that. It's the game has certainly changed. And when you go back, I mean, it's changed a lot over the last 15, 20 years. And if you go back a little further beyond that, then you're right. You had basically the format for a team was you had a lead that could draw and sweep a bit. You had a second that could hit and sweep a bit. You had a third that kind of had most of the shots and a skip that had most of the shots. But that's really what it was. Now the second and third positions are very, very similar. And the lead's position is still the main focus is drawing and being able to put rocks in different places. But now it's how good you can make that center guard, how good you can make that corner guard, all that kind of stuff that we really didn't have for a long time. But it is, and if you're weak at any one of those positions, then you're in trouble.
Definitely.
So Brent Pierce with a rock on the top of the button almost, and one in the 8-foot. Opting to throw a guard here. McEwen's got the one corner up that he hopes to use here in a little while.
It'll be a bit more of a challenge now that he kind of, quote unquote, wasted one of his lead stones there after a hit. But I'm sure McEwen will try to make it work here.
Yeah.
He's already signaling about these crazy angles, run backs, or whatever they could throw at it. Obviously, this team can throw some really good high weight shots, and so I'd guess that they're not necessarily worried right now. It's still early on in the end, even though it looks like a sea of yellow out there.
Yeah. It's always funny though when teams that are at this level have played thousands and thousands of curling games and situations like this hundreds of times, and sometimes it takes 5 minutes almost to make a call. It's like kind of odd. You figure they would have sort of a regiment that this is the way it is, and especially those first few rocks, it's like a football team that they sometimes set the first 10 plays or something. It's kind of like that. You figure, well, I wonder why it takes so long sometimes. But the days are different. The feel is different. Everything about it's different. So.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it has to do with the ice or, the speed, the curl, everything. It's all a discussion point. But you're right. You'd figure there's some type of playbook or something they could revert back to all the time.
Yeah. So Kevin Marsh, that one didn't work out quite so well for him, but did get rid of the center guard and still left Pierce with a couple in the rings. But 5 rocks to come in this end. Things are going to change pretty radically as we go on here.
The nice thing for McEwen, though, is that they now have this kind of staggered corner setup, which is not very easily runnable or even peelable for that matter right now. I guess you could hit that outside and roll all the way, but...
Yeah. And the other thing for Brent Pierce, too, it's just what exactly do you guard here? Do you guard the rock on the forefoot and leave Mike the little hit and roll behind the corner? Or do you guard the other one, leave him the other one? It's, it's a bit of a dilemma. He's going to play the peels on the corners, I think. Bit of a surprise for me. I think you got to be a little bit more aggressive than that against McEwen. But at the same time, this is a good way to sort of stay in things. If you can get rid of both these for sure, he can actually roll and probably get both corners and be a partial guard at least.
Yeah, definitely. Not a bad call, just pretty defensive, starting out. Maybe the team's not too comfortable with draw weight yet or something like that. But I'm sure they've got their own reasoning for this. And that little spin back, I don't think they got it in, but really great effort on that roll.
Yeah, I find it interesting. We've discussed this a little bit in a couple of games as we've gone on, is whether or not there's any effect of the actual sweeper sweeping that, because they're sweeping there inside the rings and sideways to the direction of the travel of the stone. You wonder if it's really doing anything, or if it's just the fact that the rocks are a little sharper now than they used to be, and they'll spin there anyways. Everybody throwing a little more rotation added onto that. But anyway.
I think I was producing that game, actually. I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think, sometimes you see the sweepers sweep for that little curl back, but, they're not even sweeping in the trajectory, like in the path of the rock. Even if it were to spin back, they're sweeping too far from the rock. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. So
it's a psychological thing as well. You trying to do as much as possible to make every shot as good as possible, and sometimes you're so locked in that you look back and you go, oh, I guess I didn't really have to do that.
Yeah. So Pierce is third. Matthew Blandford now will try to remove this red stone. Probably not going to roll too far. Need to get on this a little bit. It's curling pretty hard. Circles are not super lively, so hard to get a rock like that out in that situation. So McEwen now will probably look at making this double. It's kind of a double and a roll both shot. question here is whether or not you really want to try hard to roll behind the corner, because if you don't get all the way over and Pierce rolls behind the corner, he may force you to take one. So it might be a hair outside.
I guess he's really playing for the nose, I guess. I'm not quite sure what the plan was there. Would have expected would have expected a little more weight, or I don't know. They were on that curling the whole time, so I guess that was the call.
Yeah, they might have been trying to roll over here in front of the yellow at the back of the 12 there too.
Mm-hmm.
But Pierce in a good position here, maybe for a force. You're never out of trouble as far as doubles when you have Colton Flash and Mike McEwen throwing them, though. So you gotta really, really space these rocks well. Well, first of all, you got to stay. He's okay. He's coming up.
This might be key to McEwen's rationale. Now look at got a pretty much straight off nose double.
Yeah. I think that's where probably McEwen was hoping that Flash would roll to somewhere in that neighborhood in the last shot. But so Colton Flash now will be looking for the double for sure on this shot.
A little more weight, definitely.
Coming up a bit, he's going to be real close. And there he goes. I don't know how many doubles these guys make in a season, but it's got to be a ridiculously big number.
They make it look easy, that's for sure.
And run backs, if I could make a run back in a season, sometimes it was enough to make me happy. So
yeah,
I do play I've skipped most of my life, so I haven't played a lot of wouldn't have had a chance to throw a lot of run backs. I blame it on that a bit.
Right. As a skip, if you're looking at a run back, your team didn't do.
Yeah, they let me down. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't count those ones if you don't make them. Yeah, it's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of that shot anyway.
It's the best skip mentality right there.
Yeah, for sure. So Brent Pierce now with the very large sliding device that he uses here. We'll hit this and try to stay right there. Slides out there pretty good for a 55.
Safe to say he's still got it.
Yeah. Gonna roll a little bit.
Yeah, nice roll to center.
Yeah, Mike's gonna try to roll away. He doesn't want to fool around with the corner, knowing that if he ever even made the roll behind the corner, it would be well behind the tee line and probably subject him to a force by the time he was done. So important to stay here, but anywhere on the right side of the sheet as we look at the overhead would be enough to get him a nice easy blank, second blank in a row. Something he won't be able to do in a few weeks at the next Grand Slam. Well, he'll be able to do it, but it would cost him hammer when they test out the modified blank rule.
That's right.
Doing just a gentle takeout here. Marsh probably try to make it curl a little bit. He will, just a hair. Good throw.
Now it's funny that the blank's back into play, and we were just talking about it earlier in the end, how that little slide in deep could have dictated the whole end, and it did. It did really. Like if Dan Marsh made that first guard, and we might have seen a little more rocks in play, maybe some scoring. So it just goes back. It's all a full circle. It's crazy how these early shots can dictate the whole end.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And even with the five rock rule, it still has an impact. Like I say, you can usually manage to get one more out there, but that's not enough in most cases against these teams. So Brent Pierce will play the hit. I don't know how hard he'll go for the roll. He might decide to really take a chance of even rolling out and roll in behind the corner. It wouldn't be a bad idea.
I don't think you have much to lose here if you're Brent Pierce.
You got to make sure you hit it. You gotta really make sure you get a good piece of it, and he'll be fine. Probably
Might
gonna
get the
go out.
roll.
Close, real close. That is
Wow.
a great shot. A really great shot by Brent Pierce.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll still see Mike throw that hard weight out on the wing, but definitely a lot harder shot than if the rock was top four still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was if that rolls in like 6 inches less, then it's there's not even a shot for McEwen to remove it. So this is a good shot to be able to throw it hard though, because if you ever feather that top one, you want to make sure it goes out. And
definitely it.
so McEwen now with an out-turn peel weight shot, well over in the wings to blank the end and retain hammer going to 3. Cold flash on this. It's coming up a little bit. He's going to be close, and he will not, and gives up 2. That was the other problem with that shot.
Wow.
That
Quite
is
the upset here in the second end.
Absolutely. So Brent Pierce steals 2 here in the second end against Mike McEwen to take an early 2-0 lead here in the quarterfinal match at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We'll be back right after the break.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
So we're back after a big steal of 2 by Brent Pierce, set up by a wonderful hit and roll by Brent with his last stone in the first end. We're going to have a little look at it here.
Yeah, again, this beautiful roll. I mean, they were obviously calling for it, but you couldn't really make that much better. You could have rolled maybe 6 inches less, but that consequentially made Mike throw a really uncomfortable out-turn hit to blank, and he actually ticked the guard and got had to give up 2, a steal of 2 for Brent Pierce.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where somebody's confidence in their abilities maybe was just a little too much there. I'm sure that Mike never really considered he hit that, and then the other part of it is he knew he was going to be throwing it pretty hard, so if he ever did hit it, he would expect to get it out, but he just barely feathered it, and that was the trouble, and could have easily drawn for 1. But anyway, it's early. It's not like the end of the world for sure. It's no different than if you didn't have hammer and you gave up 2 there. You'd feel like, okay, well, that's going to happen sometime. So And it's not like these guys don't have lots of experience. They're not going to shake them up for too long. So
they've definitely got some mental fortitude that they can use to push through this. Obviously, not too bad. It's just the third end, down 2. You can easily come back from this, but your resilience might be shaken up after that big swing.
Yeah. So Daniel Marsh with his second stone here in the third end rather. Just attempting to freeze the yellow. Didn't quite make it. Pierce will no doubt remove that. I'm pretty sure he will. Probably won't stay, but I'd be pretty happy with where he is right now in this one. Second stone, Cody Johnson. Throw a little weight at this. Get half a stone and remove it. And got one of his own as well, but
clips his back one. I don't think he's necessarily too mad about it.
No, it's funny. You throw those ones in there, and then sometimes it feels like you spend so much time trying to miss them with shots. It's like, why did we put these in here again? There had to be a reason, but they've just been a pain ever since they got there. So, draw around the corner for McEwen.
Yeah, it comes back to having to plan exactly where your rocks, end up. And I mean, we had a game yesterday. It was the Jacobs versus Pierce game, and it was a perfect game from Jacobs. But you could tell that they were planning each and every single rock placement to the T, and that's what you got to do now. It's you got to place every rock exactly where you want it.
Yeah, I've got a few young juniors that are pretty young and trying to play, and it's funny because when they're skipping, it's kind of like I keep telling them, so, well, you may not throw the rock to a specific spot, but always be thinking that that's exactly where you want to be, because they tend to, point over to the other side or something. We're just going to throw over there. It's like, well, make sure everybody knows where you would like it to be if everything was perfect. I mean, they only play probably like 30% or 35% or something now, so they're not going to make that shot very often, but you'd like them to at least be thinking about the perfect spot.
Yeah, and it's all about visualization, right? That's one of the most important part of the game. When you're in the hack, you have to visualize exactly what the rock's going to do, and obviously it comes with a bunch of experience. And when you're a junior, sometimes it can feel a little hard because you're coming out of the hack a little shaky, and you're not playing 100%. But as long as you have a clear vision of what that rock's doing down the sheet, you're going to tend to make more shots.
Yeah. So Pierce peels off the corner, and now you've got McEwen going to put it back up. Like to bounce back with the 2 right away. At least 2. Always thinking more, but this one's still got to curl a bit.
Doesn't quite get there, but now we'll see if he... Yeah, Brent Pierce just wanting to hit the one in the house. I mean, you could go for the peel here too, but
he could. Definitely. I thought he might, just because he has the possibility of maybe running it back and then rolling to the center as well. But opting to throw. He asked for big weight on this.
Yeah, literally just a tick, just to pick it out.
Yeah, and the red one's high enough that he won't have to suffer the same fate that Mike McEwen did in the first end. It's Matthew Blandford now. Very nicely done. Almost going to stay.
Yeah, textbook.
Not much weight. Wow. McEwen now going to play the hit and roll behind the corner. Or at least that's the initial thoughts. Just hollow down the weight. I'm guessing this is probably somewhere. I think he's playing the hit. I'm pretty sure he's playing the hit. With something around the hack weight. Maybe a little bit more than hack. Make this roll. This has probably gotten a little straighter as the week's gone on, and they're taking a little less ice than they were taking early in the week for the down weight shots. This is really good.
Yeah, great throw. I think that really makes the difference between the really, really highly competitive teams and maybe some of the tier 2 teams and stuff like that. It's those hack weight, bumper weight shots. To be able to have that weight in your back pocket is just, it's such a weapon. It's so controllable. Your sweepers are in on it. Sometimes if you throw a 6-second bomb, well, your sweepers don't have that much effect, right? But if you throw that nice 11, 12-second hog-to-hog hit, you've got the whole team in on the shot, and those really make the difference sometimes.
Yeah, with the ability of the sweepers to carve things nowadays, it's even more accentuated when you can throw that, like you say, those 11 and a halves or whatever you saw. This one's got to go though.
Oof, a little bit of disappointment there from Blanford.
Yeah, I think they were expecting to get more curl than that. Maybe just a little overthrown, or maybe a little too much ice. Who knows?
It's a conversation to have behind the house, and I'm sure they'll have a quick little debrief on that shot.
Yeah, those are the ones that are, they're not easy, but they're easy for this level, and they're the ones that you really can't miss if you're going to knock off somebody like a McEwen. So you'll look to not have too many more of those, or it's going to be a long day. So Colton Flash now going to split the house. Mike indicating you may be a little bit wide. Not that it should matter a lot here. This should curl over pretty good. Oh.
A big no from Mike there. Trying to get to that perfect spot where you don't leave him a double. I think, if you really want to try it, there is one, but it's quite the thin...
Yeah.
Hackner double, we call it.
Yeah, I think it's more a board weight shot here, a hack weight shot here, that you make sure the contact on the one behind the guard and roll over in front, or at least towards the other. Stone, mostly because you don't really have anything else to do. If you decide to hit the back one, you're giving up 2 for sure. You don't want to drop 3 though. That rock went back for Flash, went back a little further than he wanted. He's looking to be pretty much even with the stone behind the guard here.
I'm excited to see what kind of weight he throws. Looks like ice for a normal controlled weight-ish. Probably looking at a rock coming, taking 10 or 9 seconds from hog to hog.
Yeah.
Going for that roll to the wing. I don't see him making the double, but if he comes out with quite a bit of weight, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, that would be tough for sure. Tough to take the chance. So Brent Pierce now, his first stone here in the third end. A bit of a pre-shot routine for Brent. Big shot. Need to at least make sure you make contact here and hang around. Definitely don't want to hit that guard. Going hard, a little tight. Will he be okay? I think he's going to be okay. And he's going to be really close to the double as well.
Oh, just over.
Yeah.
Great effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a hair thinner, just a little bit, probably a half-inch thinner, maybe an inch thinner, and he would have made that shot. So McEwen going around the corner, I think. Not sure now. It looks a little. Yeah. Going around the corner here, you don't have to make this one spectacularly good. You just want to be buried, because I'm pretty sure that Brent Pierce will hit the open one and end up giving you 2 pretty simply, unless he has a really good shot at the double or a freeze or something that happens that you don't expect to happen. So Mike McEwen with the in-turn.
I think both teams share a pretty common goal at this point of the end, and if I wouldn't be surprised if
it's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
it's quite heavy. This might go out. Can he get it out the back? And he does.
Wow.
Mike McEwen with a couple of misses early in this one. I don't think the sweeper, that fooled the sweepers a little bit. Didn't fool Marsh, but fooled Flash a little bit. He was going a little bit on it, and you saw Marsh reach over and sort of go whoa with his arm, and it was just a little bit too much. So Brent Pierce going to escape this end with probably a blank end, but no worse than a single point against you, which he would prefer to the blank end, obviously.
Quite the turn of events in this game. I mean, we're seeing some mistakes from Mike McEwen that we wouldn't really see normally.
No, you wouldn't expect for sure. You're going, hold this one right there. It'd be good. You want to stay for sure. A little roll towards the center wouldn't have been bad either, just to make the blank just that little bit longer. I always like to have. If I'm going to have one rock in the house and the person's going to be trying to blank, I'd just assume them have the longest roll they could. So I like to be somewhere near the button area. But first priority was to hit it. Second priority was to stay. Well down the list was the roll. Mike McEwen definitely wants to roll out here, and I'm not sure he's going to. And he will not. Oh, he maybe. No, he will hang around. So things are going about as bad as they could possibly go for this McEwen team. It's just like you said, it's shots that they're not used to missing.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here, and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
And we're back for end number 4. And certainly a different game than we expected. And maybe the last end was an indication how it's been going so far, Olivier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've had a pretty textbook end. You know, McEwen going for 2, setting up a corner, coming around that corner. Pierce playing relatively defensively and peeling and making some nice hits. You know, this comes to that, and we've got a blank opportunity for McEwen. A well-played end on everybody's part, but McEwen actually couldn't roll out, which is something that they're not used to necessarily missing, I'd say. So, like you said, pretty surprising scoreboard here up to now. Nothing against Brent Pierce, but when you're up against these big names like this, you don't necessarily expect to play to misses.
Well, no, I mean, you look at the last 2 shots, and you've got McEwen throwing a draw through the house and then hitting a staying on a peel attempt when he just had to roll foot and a half to get out of play. That's certainly not what we would expect. So I don't know exactly where McEwen was going with the red stone here. It just ended up in an odd place when Marsh threw it, and it just went outside in and ended up near the front there. I don't know exactly how come or why that ended up there, but it's there now. So it's more a center guard than a corner guard for Brent Pierce, actually. Up 2-1, playing 4 with hammer is in a really good position. If he could ever pick up a deuce here, he'd be in a very good position going to the second half of the game.
Yeah, up 3 after 4. That would you're pretty happy with that when that's on your scoreboard.
Yeah. I'll get this one around, and the yellows are staggered at the front, and there's a red one on top of it, so it's not a bad setup. It's just with hammer usually, not or without hammer rather. I guess that's the other trick too. I got to get my mind going right here. I got the backwards in my head as to what we're throwing, so the center guard makes a little more sense. I was still thinking McEwen had hammer. Thank everybody for joining us this morning on Curling Stadium. It's going to be a great day of curling. It's going to be some wonderful games, and as we work our way to the final later on today, and be sure to stay with us and take in some awesome curling here on a Monday. What else do you do but work on a Monday? So.
Yeah, I'd much rather be watching curling than working, that's for sure. Guess I'm doing both.
Yeah. Got it covered. McEwen asking for a center guard again from Kevin Marsh. Those yellows, I said, were staggered, and they kind of are staggered, but they're probably not as far as getting the red one out. The inside yellow stone could certainly be raised into the red.
I guess McEwen's going pretty hard for a steal here, because he's really reluctant to hitting those yellows and gaining control of that top area. But I guess, yeah, he's going really hard for the steal. He wants to get some mojo back.
Yeah, you might see at some point that it changes a little bit, and he decides to remove the yellows if he gets in a position where he could force Brent Pierce maybe by making the double on the yellows and hanging around somewhere, but not just yet. It's a little dangerous, though, leaving the 2 yellow stones there, that's for sure. So appeal now. For Pierce the second, Cody Johnson. Well done.
I'd say Pierce is pretty happy with this setup. I mean, if Mike does decide to do something in the house, there's still the blank opportunity was well alive, and right now you're looking to score some quite a bit if you've got if he leaves these yellows here. It's kind of a waiting game. See who's willing to play it first, I guess.
No, you're exactly right.
This is where patience as a skip comes real handy. Sometimes you might think that things aren't necessarily looking real good for you, but you just got to play those little waiting shots, and you got to know when to pounce. And obviously, I think this is that's the conversation they're having on the ice right now, Team McEwen.
Yeah. Theme song for that would be the old Kenny Rogers Gambler, whatever it's called, song, where you fold them and know when to fold them and when to hold them and all that kind of stuff.
That's exactly. Know when to walk away and know when to run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This not getting as much curl as they expected, I don't think.
Well, I'm not even 100% sure what that shot was supposed to be.
I think they gestured for a nose on that, the one on the center line, but
okay.
Which, doesn't sound like too bad of a call, but again, now you just set up a corner for Pierce.
Yeah.
With a wide open rock in the forefoot.
So third stone Matthew Blanford hitting a stick, and you might see McEwen being forced to play a double that is not exactly the kind of double he'd like to have to play here. If this hangs around, this stops. That's huge. There is a definite double here for Colton Flash. For these guys, this doesn't look like a difficult double at all. Some of us, this would look like the impossible dream, but Colton Flash will be coming with some heat here and be planning on making this double, and he'll be close, I would think. He's already curled too much, I think.
Yeah, just going right over the top. Might get a nice roll and still freeze. No. Hit that a bit thinner and you've got the double locked in.
Yeah. Yeah, just had to be a little thinner, you're right. But a great chance for Pierce to split the house here and have the rocks about, I don't know, 10 feet apart. That's a long ways if they're even. So Blanford now. It's a hard one. If you're going around that corner, it doesn't really look like he's going to get over there. I was going to say, if you're going around that corner, you definitely want to be high because you're going to pretty much force McEwen to play a draw. Now they're going to go back. A little bit of an odd position for that shot, I thought. I'm not sure why you would go there. If you wanted to go behind the guard, I understand, but you left Mike McEwen a little hit and a roll. Just an odd place to put that stone in my mind. Nice and even. That part's good, but
yeah, I'm not quite sure why didn't want to go really, really buried around that corner, but
yeah, if you're not going to go there, you might as well try to stay fairly far away from there.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a little bit tough, but anyway, it's there. Mike McEwen now, who right now desperately would like to make something good. It's been a little bit of a struggle so far. Mark's going to try to make this one curl. I don't think he's going to get it over far enough to get the roll. Can't quite see it now. Where are we at here? Right on the nose?
Yeah, bonks it on the nose. Scary stuff for McEwen now.
Well, it is, and it's, I think Pierce has got to go for a little bit of a roll here, and he will be above the tee line, so unless he rolls a long ways, that wouldn't even be horrible, actually. If he rolled all the way over into the 12-foot here, what would McEwen do? It's a good question. I'm not sure. McEwen might have to play the draw around the corner and run the risk of giving up 3.
Mm-hmm. Some conservative teams would just flat out hit the open one, give them 2, and
yeah,
accept that because you give up 2 and it's still somewhat of a game. You give up 3 and well, you're climbing an upwards battle, and it's pretty hard when at this level when you're down 4.
Yep.
You've only got 4 ends to get it back. It's can get challenging.
Yeah. So Pierce is obviously going to play the hit, and we're not quite sure if he's going to go for the inside roll. The other roll for him would be just if you're not going to roll behind the guard, but roll towards the other two on the left-hand side there. Just don't roll very far. If you go to, full forefoot there, you're probably not going to allow a double. You don't want to go any further, or you would allow a double. So right on the nose is not terrible either. It's just you are going to leave that roll again for McEwen. And, do you want to leave it twice, I guess, is the question. So Brent Pierce has a very deliberate pre-shot routine, just a little 10-second, 15-second thing to focus himself.
Looks out there as well.
It's got to curl. It's got to curl. It definitely has to stay. Don't know. No, he did. So that's pretty good. That's I think that's great, actually. It's, McEwen can still make a roll, but now it's a 4-foot roll sort of thing. And anything less than that, and he's given up 2.
Yeah, the longer the roll, the more challenging the shot usually.
Absolutely, yeah.
But still very scary for McEwen and Pierce. I can't see him being mad with this setup at all.
So Mike McEwen going to play a hit and a roll that he really, really needs to try to escape a deuce here in the 4th end and a 4-1 deficit. Marsh now trying to move it. It will move. You got to be careful not to move it too far. This could be close, but it looks like it's going to roll. Well, again, that's a great shot.
Yeah, that's he's got his mojo back. That's for sure. That's the Mike McEwen we're used to seeing, making these really nice, precise shots.
And that's an indication of 2 things, I think. One is that the players and teams have gotten a little bit more used to where you need to hit rocks here, because earlier in the week, if you hit it right there, you'd feel like, well, that's never going to stay even, never mind roll behind the guard. But so the second thing is, do you question where Brent Pierce decided to play his shot? Should he have rolled it? Should he have gone ahead and went for the roll behind the guard? I don't know. Those are things that the whole second guess and post-game chatter is what it's all about sometimes. So,
oh yeah, hindsight is 20/20 as well. Hey, you look back at some shots and you're scratching your head. Why did I even do this?
I think you can actually I actually believe that the way the rocks have curled to the outside, although it's usually over a little further, I think you can actually make this for the deuce, but you got to throw back line kind of weight.
It's definitely a tough shot.
That I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised at Brent just throwing a draw to the 4-foot and just taking his 1.
Yeah.
But it looks like he wants to throw it. Make some good TV here.
Yeah, it's tough decision for sure. It's a tough one because 3-1 lead at the break is not bad either. You're kind of in control. Even if you get up 2 the next end, you get hammered 6. It's a key end in the game, and you score, and you're probably in a good position coming home in the 8th. So, and that's what he's decided to do now after all.
Yeah, but you could see him looking at it, and he's eyeing it up.
Yeah.
I think his teammates kind of convinced him to throw the draw. He's got to get full 4 here.
Yeah, it's not terribly easy, but
well, as a skip, you really have to to get used to throwing these. Really, if you've got a draw to the forefoot, you're pretty happy with it normally.
Yeah, especially this, we don't have to maneuver around anything or whatever. So if you're not going to make this, you're probably not going to beat McEwen. So you need to be able to make it. Sweepers are not doing much with it, but they are cleaning it. Getting on a little bit now. Needs to curl a bit. Mostly it needs to slow down.
Looks like they've got it.
I think he's going to be right on the pinhole. So a very nice draw by Brent Pierce here in end number 4. Pierce will lead in the quarterfinals here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We're at the Swift Curling Club. We'll be back right after the break.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
So we're back halfway through. Brent Pierce with a 3-1 lead without hammer here in 5, but got to be pretty happy with where he is, I think, Olivier.
Oh, definitely. I think obviously he would have liked his 2 in the last end, but you know, sometimes you just have to accept your force. Obviously, Mike made a great shot to roll again under the his corner guard there, and there wasn't really much for 2. I guess there was a hack waiter, but definitely a tougher shot than the draw. So we saw him just elect to play draw to the forefoot and take his 1.
Yeah, of all the shots we had so far, that shot by McEwen might turn out to be the shot that turned this one around a little bit. Still down, but if he misses that and gives up the 2 there, it's a different ball game.
Definitely.
He can now look at playing hits here. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up even blanking this end if he gets the opportunity. But for now, Daniel Marsh is going around the, I guess Kevin Marsh is going around the corner. No, it's Daniel, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out how to keep them apart. I'm just going by what I have written down of who's playing lead and second. If they ever change it, I don't have a clue who's who. So
Yeah, I'm going by the same thing.
Yeah, very nicely done. Brent Pierce can't do anything about that one right now. If you're ever thinking, why doesn't he play the run back? It's just 1 rock too early. So guard going back up by Cody Johnson.
Yeah, again, we've seen this setup this weekend quite a bit. The center guard going up, or I guess maybe in the rings, depending on how he throws it. But that center lineup, a little bit of stagger, which is really nice. And that corner guard for McEwen with the rock right behind it.
Mike thinking about the draw.
I'd be surprised to see him throw this draw. Yeah.
They'll try to make, I was going to say, I think they'll try to get more than just one rock here. If you can get it just off center and get two of them and stay more or less right there. Just roll a little bit, maybe behind the R, and Brand works there. Would be a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
This one's coming up a little now. Looks pretty good, I think, unless he jams it on the other red one.
Oh, that's a nasty.
That's brutal. Yeah, you're right. That's
it's hard to do, obviously, but not a good miss. That's for sure.
Yeah, a minute ago I thought Pierce was going to be playing the peel on the high corner guard here on this shot, and now all of a sudden he's like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Got these rocks here pretty good. Still might be the right shot to peel that corner guard off, though, to be honest. We're going to have a chat about it. Third, Matthew Blanford now, down to have a talk with Brent about what they're going to do here.
There's a few ways you could go about this. Obviously, you could still play a peel, maybe a double peel if you're feeling up for it, and really keep it open. But your guards aren't necessarily hurting you right now. They do have the possibility to get kind of nasty against a team like McEwen. They can easily run them in, and they have a bunch of opportunities. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does play some kind of peel. But you could also, go get a little more gutso and draw in, or maybe try and come around the other side, the wide side, and
you got a couple of choices for sure. And center guard's not terrible. Maybe it's just I think the yellow one that he has in behind there, full 8 foot, does save him a little bit. McEwen just put that one in there by mistake, and that allows him a little more flexibility on throwing the peel on this high one, because he's now second stone. And even if McEwen runs something, it's tough to run it and have a good result.
Mm-hmm. We see Team Pierce throwing the double peel I was just talking about.
Yeah, so he's going after both, is he? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's surprising to me. I thought he would actually try to hit this a little bit on the inside and maybe hit the one in the house, but not the one that's not the high one.
And you might be right. But it looks like it's going to make the double peel.
Yeah, Cody Johnson made exactly what was called. And the good news is now it's you're looking at a deuce possibly, but that's all. It's not going to shouldn't get any messier than that at most. And you've got 5 rocks to really get it to the point that you don't give up 2. Marsh being asked to hit and roll away, roll over to the open side, where Mike's broom is there.
Brent Pierce really adopting a pretty conservative mentality when it comes to his game calling. We see him making a lot of just safe run-of-the-mill shots, but that are nice and simple. So easy to make. You boost your percentage up like that, but it comes down to these pretty simple ends where you might take one take 2, give up 1. These pretty low scoring ends compared to a team that would play with maybe a few more rocks and play a little more freezes, a little more fancy shots that we're used to seeing.
Sure. So Matt Blanford now. Whoa, this is not good. This is way, way out there. He's probably going to jam this on his own, if anything. Can they get it out? Wow, all of a sudden, 3's in play from Mike McEwen. On a wide open hit miss by Matthew Blanford. We just can't have that one.
Yeah, it's another one of those. I think he had another miss earlier in the game there 2 ends ago. And it's just those misses that you really can't afford against a team like McEwen.
Yeah.
Thankfully, so far, McEwen has been, I guess, nice enough to to return some of those misses back to Team Pierce. But if they're really locking in here.
Yeah, and I mean, you missed that with heavy weight on the high side. It's just, it's an odd one to miss. You can hold it there pretty good with. But anyway, we all do it. Sometimes we talk about it and we're like, well, okay, the only thing we don't want to do is this. And then you throw it and you're like, well, how did I possibly do this? This is what I didn't want to do. The only thing I didn't want to do. So he'll get a chance to redeem himself a little bit here with a possible double. They go from having a chance to maybe force to trying to make sure you don't give up 3. Relatively easy double for these guys.
Hard in-turn right down the center.
Should be close, just can't quite see it. There it is. Not quite.
Oh.
Yeah, we just couldn't see past Matt there on that one, so. So Flash with a chance to spread these out again, maybe better. Gets the roll over to the 8-foot on the other side. It's going to be really hard for Brent Pierce not to give up 3 here. But he needs a roll. He will get a pretty good roll. It's not bad at all.
Well, you definitely have to hit something now.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's going to hit all the way here and make sure that you don't take any more risks. And hopefully somewhere, you got 2 rocks. You want to make a double on one of them. Definite double possibility on this one. Again, none of these doubles will be easy at this point, but they're makeable. So you got to...
Yeah, you hit a third of that rock on the inside, and you're getting pretty close to that back one.
Yeah. Brent Pierce all of a sudden in this end in some trouble, which didn't seem like it should have happened, but it has, so have to find a way to get through it. And this would go a long way to making that happen if you could ever make this double.
Some nice hard heavy weight here.
Yeah.
From Brent Pierce. Hoping to make the double.
Should be really close. Go over the top again.
Yeah,
Brent had that happen a couple of hands ago. It just had to hit a little bit thinner.
They even had a guy curl it there at the last minute, so I'm thinking they got a little fooled on exactly where to hit the rock, but these are tough calls. A little something in the ice or something, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been a little scratch or something, possibly. Doing a lot of work on it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work. Well, 3's in play here for Mike McEwen.
Well, absolutely.
Not a good house to look at if you're Brent Pierce. Again, having played this end relatively open, you wouldn't expect a 3 this way, but this is how they can come up sometimes out of the blue. Mike definitely getting a deuce if all things fall into place.
McEwen throwing the in-turn here. I'd like to get this over. Probably T-line in the 12-foot would be a good spot. He might be looking for a little bit beyond that. Guys are going pretty hard. I'm sure it'll get there, but taking a little bit of work to make it happen. I think that's a pretty darn good spot.
Yeah, I don't know if I see a real easy double. I guess you're making this one, but you're rolling out. I guess that's the only way to really force them to 2.
You pretty near have to take a run at it. There's no way to. There's no easy escape route at all to anything. So run this one into one of those 2. Be pretty happy if you could make it. I assume he's trying to pick the one off the back on the center line. It would be I think the easier of the 2 shots, but it might more depend on where he lets it go.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta look over your options and pick your plan A, plan B, plan C sometimes.
Brent Pierce with not a must-have double, but it sure would make you feel better double.
Definitely. Looks close. Has to curl up a little bit.
I don't know which one they're trying to hit, but we'll see in a minute. Will he get the back one? And he will. And a terrific shot by Brent Pierce to save a 3-ender and give McEwen a 2. But 2 just feels like you won the lottery right now, I think, if you're Brent Pierce.
Definitely. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Clutch, for sure.
Yeah. So McEwen now with a chance to tie this up, which, to be honest, that's about what they deserved in this end. They just got the one wide open miss. So, but they did a great job of trying to protect the 3, but it's impossible to totally protect those things. If somebody makes a great shot like Brent just made, it's you really can't. All you can do is tip your hat and say, yeah, okay, couldn't have done any better. Couldn't have put it in any better place.
Mm-hmm.
So guys are just kind of dusting this one. It's fine. So our quarterfinal game here between McEwen and Pierce at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown is all tied up at 3 after 5 ends of play, with Brent Pierce having hammer and 6.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
So we're back here. 3 ends to go. Maybe 4. We don't know. Depends if we get some bonus coverage or not, but 3 for sure. We're tied up at 3. In a different kind of a game, I think. Pierce had to be happy, though. I think, Olivier, to get out of that end with a 2.
Yeah, it got kind of nasty towards the end there. They were sitting 3 in the house, and Brent made this beautiful double. We can actually see it again here. Definitely across the house. It goes over the top and squeezes it right out. Not sure if that was the way they were calling it, but that's the way it was made, and you really got to be happy about that.
Yeah, it was a great shot. When I would be calling that, I'd just be calling it to like I wanted to hit that one at the back on the nose and figure a little bit one way or the other we make it. So
that's exactly it.
Deep angle to figure out. I don't know what goes through their minds, but that would be what I would be thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, props to the whole team at that point. You know, you got the sweepers working on it, catching up to it. You got the guy calling the shot, which is definitely not an easy shot to call when you're in the house, but it was made and made well.
Yeah. Got a little rub here. Didn't disturb much, so they get away with it. Mike McEwen off for, what do they call this? In cycling, this would be a nature break, I think they call it. Watch a little bit of the Tour de France and stuff, and you'd be like, oh, so-and-so was off for a nature or natural or something break.
Yeah, exactly.
You figure out what that was pretty easily. So they're going to all go down and talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty aggressive calling here by Mike. Yeah. Well, by Colton Flash, I should say.
I don't think they're going to throw it until Mike gets back anyway. I think this was like just a conversation to feel like you weren't holding everything up.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah.
I think we'll see him come around here. You got the 2 centers. You can't really... Yeah, you got to use them. You got to play to the center. I think, again, they're going pretty hard for the steal, it looks like. So they can retain hammer in the 8th eventually. If you steal 1, give up 1, force, I guess, Pierce to 1 in the 7th, and grab your 2 with the hammer in the 8th.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely on paper, Pierce is in the right position here if he can score, but if McEwen ever scored 1, then it changes around. So, as I say, every game, it seems, the 6th end, and every game that's within a point or two, the 6th end is the key end in the game. And most of the time, Rory yesterday was looking, I think it was Rory was looking up all the analytics on curlingzone.com of percentage chances of winning on this and this and this and whatever. I have never looked that up. I got to look that up sometime for fun. But anyway, I would say that if you the team that scores here and takes the lead would probably be likely to win, I don't know, 80% of the games or something, probably from there.
Most likely. It's quite a pivotal point of the game. You see some teams putting oftentimes all their eggs in one basket in the 6th end. You know, because they're convinced that, according to the stats, it's an overwhelming chance that they don't succeed if they don't get that 6th end win.
So Pierce looking to clean it up a little bit here. This looks like this. Oh, we get the wrong one.
That's real close. You could have had the whole triple there almost, but
yeah,
millimeter off, not even.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be on the red one at least with that, but so a pretty good setup for Mike McEwen. He's got 2 center guards, and mind you, you could get rid of both of those in one shot, but at the same time, they're in a nice spot. Looks like they're going to play the out-turn draw around.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty convinced that the double peel's there. I think that's what Mike was a bit scared about, but yeah, they're coming around anyway.
So Kevin Marsh with his second here in the 6th end. Guys are on a little bit early.
Yeah, it must be nice to have some guy like Colton Flash on the inside of your rock.
Yeah. Not going to curl quite enough, but not terrible. Probably see Pierce run that guard into it, I think. Hit it right there and takes that out. You go over and jam on the yellow and maybe even roll in the house. That's exactly the way I visualized it.
You guys are on the same wavelength because that's exactly what he's looking at.
He won't be completely out of the mess, but he'll be well on the way, especially if he slides in the rings a little bit. But even if he doesn't, he'll be right behind the red. So Cody Johnson with his second here, looking to make the double.
He's close.
A little bit thin.
Oh. Close.
Yeah, close. Need to get a little bit more.
Those misses are sure frustrating when you're Cody Johnson throwing those hard ones. You can miss them by a millimeter on the rock that you hit, and could have a huge effect down the line when you're running rocks back. But it's such a precise game now. You got to hit those perfectly.
McEwen throwing up a guard. I thought he might come around the guard that's on the D there in the Brandworks logo, but not yet. He probably will eventually.
Yeah, just playing that patient game we were talking about 2-3 ends ago.
Yeah.
It's cat and mouse, seeing who wants to pounce first.
Yeah, and sometimes you do this because you're expecting the other guy to do something, like in this case, peel that guard, and figure if you can make him waste another couple of shots doing that, then when you do come around that guard in the on the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at it, then it's you'll have less opportunities to do much about it. Be a little careful here. Run this back into a rock that you're not looking at running it into. Could have the double. Nope, he's going to be missed a little bit too. A couple of close ones, but close doesn't really work.
Another guard still.
What's that?
Another guard still from
yeah.
Mike McEwen. Colton Flash. The Marsh twins on the brush.
Indicated this one maybe up a little bit for weight. Well, not really. Should be pretty good. Just going to come into view on the overhead now.
That's a fine guard.
Use that overhead to judge where I think things are any good. Not anything beyond the top of our overhead camera is, to me, a waste of time. So
yeah,
it doesn't really affect anything. So another peel attempt. Matthew Blackford would love to make this one. Oh, timeout. Nope, thinking about the different shot.
Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, not really a timeout, just a...
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I think the straight back or whatever is an easier one, obviously, but I'm wondering if the shot he has in mind is better or not. It could be, but way harder. Like if he makes that, he runs the one on the D there into the other, and they both go, and then McEwen's going to come around the center guard, and it's high enough that it would be easier for Pierce to get to. But if you don't make it, then I think you're in bigger trouble. I think if you're going to peel something, you got to Peel the high one.
I think so
Onto the
too.
wireless.
That way you get your like a guaranteed draw path, I think too.
Yeah.
Worst case comes to worst.
Yeah.
Pierce definitely wants 2 here, but not mad if he's getting 1. He just really
exactly. He has to score, right? 6
Yeah.
then he has to score.
Yeah. Just doesn't want to give up a steal or anything like that.
No.
So yeah, definitely peeling something. We'll see what he opts for. Kind of a nice lengthy conversation here from Pierce and his vice Matthew Blanford.
Yeah. Yeah, that slash one just looks really steep to play and to have it get rid of it. Like I could see you running it into it and having it just roll back this way behind the yellow or in the neighborhood of the yellow.
Yeah. And I mean, if anybody at home has an opinion on this, you can feel free to use the chat on YouTube. We're always looking for some participation, some interaction. So here at home, what do you guys think of this?
They might be starting to think, well, it doesn't, but just throw something.
Yeah.
I know sometimes on TV, that's what I'll do. I'll be like, come on, you guys, just pick a shot.
Yeah. Time seems to move slower when you're talking a bunch too.
Yeah.
I know when I'm skipping, sometimes I can get carried away with my vice as well, and we're just shooting ideas off of each other, and you got to come back to the present sometimes and realize, okay, wait, let's throw a nice makeable shot, the easiest shot we have to put the most pressure on them.
Yeah. Well, there's been a decision made. Just don't know what it is yet. It's going to run the angle.
Oh, great shot if you make it.
Yeah.
Curious to see what they talked over.
Yeah. We'll never know. They at least know where they're going to have lunch.
Yeah.
A little bit tight on this, I think. It looked tight on the slide.
Yeah, it's getting
back it
close.
Up. Get it back there.
And makes it.
That is a great shot. I don't even know if it's the best shot, but it was a great shot regardless. It just, and a good job on the broom. I didn't think he let it out of his hand. I thought, no way, it's just going to be not on the nose, but it's not going to curl enough to make this. So you'll have another look at it.
You can see, I think he pushed it out a little bit, so he's got some outwards momentum. Look at it fall like that. Obviously, the Nicholas Umbach holding it out there, but yeah, great shot. Thrown, called, thrown, and made.
So takes a little bit of the pressure off of Pierce here. Even if McEwen makes this shot, it's going to be hard to put this somewhere where he can't do something with it. Got to keep it well above the tee line, I think. So 2 rocks each to come here. McEwen with his first here in 6. Pivotal land, as they say. Whoever scores here is going to be in a much better position. Pierce not looking to blank, but he would be not unhappy with a blank. Guys are working pretty hard on this. I think it's going to be pretty good. Be 8 foot, maybe a little better. Full 8 foot, fully buried.
Great curling shot.
Yeah, very nice shot. And I think the right depth too. It's not the depth that you necessarily think you're going to steal with, but it's the depth where I think it's very difficult for Pierce to remove it without playing the run back.
Yeah, it comes back to I guess the rationale behind peeling that right one last shot. That way, they're dealing with a much higher guard. McEwen has to throw a much higher draw as well. Because, if he was T-line top 4 foot even, you could follow it down, you could bump it, you can open up your scoring area. But, McEwen, like you just said, threw pretty much the best shot he could have.
Yeah. So interesting conversation here. Guys are looking at whether or not to come around the corner guard and just make sure you're still shot, but get as much buried as you can. That'll be interesting. On the overhead, it doesn't really look like you could get over far enough to stay shot and be buried, but when you look at it on the long view, it looks like you could do that. You could get around there, maybe just bite the edge of the 4 foot and be fully buried.
Yeah, I agree. That's what they're going for, I think.
Yeah. It's a pretty long run back. A lot of people would, a lot of skips in today's world would play the run back and make that. And figuring, well, if I don't make it, the worst case scenario, I got to draw the 4 foot from my 1.
Mm-hmm.
They may end up there yet.
I think they might have heard you.
Yeah. If if you go around the corner and if you don't happen to get in the perfect spot, McEwen might just be able to come around again, and all of a sudden you're going to be throwing against 2. Anyway, going to give it a go on the run back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a bad call by all means. Like you said, worst case, you open everything up, and Mike will probably try to put another one as best he can, and then we'll see a draw to the 4 foot for Brent Pierce for 1.
Hardest part here is you're running red onto red, and if either one of them stays, it's a bit of a problem for you, but it doesn't matter. You can only run what you can.
Mm-hmm. Signature pre-shot routine.
Yeah, it's very deliberate. He sets it up like he's going to throw an in-turn every time and then rotates it to the out-turn position.
Yeah.
Goes. This one's got to curl a lot if he's trying to make a run back. Maybe even just to hit it. We get it? Came off of that one. That's probably not a bad thing for him. It clears it out at least, so if he has to draw, he doesn't have to think about that. I think it was out of the way, but...
Yeah, it's not... I wouldn't necessarily call it a miss. It's, it's a nice shot. I don't know if that's what they called, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Considering I thought he was playing the run back and pick it out that way, but he might not have been, because that does carry some risk. If you happen to just about make it, but not quite, you leave your guard out there. And now all of a sudden McEwen comes around, maybe makes a little tap or something, and your next shot is that much more difficult. So I think these guys are actually playing a little bit of a tap on the red.
I think so too. Just a little back 4 weight.
Yeah.
At this point with these sweepers, you could throw a regular draw and give your sweepers the ability to sweep for a little bit more weight and get your tapped rock in the back 4, back button.
If there is a problem here in a place that you can't miss at, is just if you ever miss just with too short and you tap it a foot or 2, there might be a blank double blank, whatever you want to call that, is all. So Marsh looking for it to curl. It's going to be pretty good for weight, I think.
That's the best you could do.
Yeah, I think that's quite good.
We'll see if he elects to play the double here. I think you're making the double for 1, so it's really whatever you feel like doing between that and the draw, and I think he just picked the draw. So
yeah, I think you have to try to make the draw here. He made a great draw a couple hands ago, so if he can make a good draw here, he has control. If you play the other one, you're giving up a point. Unless you blank the next hand, I don't know that you have control going home. So Brent Pierce now will look to Draw the button for a single here in the 6th end. Biggest shot of the game really so far for Pierce. This is a control shot really for the last 2 ends. The final 2 ends. It's on its way. Keeper's brooms down, but not doing much else. Going hard now. I would say it's probably pretty good since they went hard for a short period of time.
It's always a good sign when the sweepers are cleaning it. Just
Yeah,
making sure it gets there.
perfect.
Oh, it slowed down at the end there, but
Yeah, it seemed to slow down a little bit. You're right. But he made great draw for Brent Pierce, and twice he's had to make a draw to the pin, and he's done it both times, and he will take a 4-3 lead to end number 7 here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
We're back for 7th end action. Quarterfinal matchup between Mike McEwen and Brent Pierce. Got a good one. Pierce up 1, playing 7. McEwen with hammer. It's Jim and Olivier bringing you this game. And Olivier's doing production, and Olivier's doing cameras, so he's a busy guy. They're doing a heck of a job at it.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jim. It's quite fun. We've got a good game. Some ups, some downs.
Yeah. It is a good game.
Some action, even though both these teams have been preferring to keep things pretty open. We haven't seen an end with many rocks in play. Obviously, we had a 3 opportunity in the, I guess that would have been the 5th end. But even then, it was a pretty wide open 3. Which didn't happen, obviously. That great double was made.
Certainly didn't develop the way a 3-hander would normally develop, no.
Exactly. So, guessing that just goes back to the skipper's preferences.
Yeah. Very nice draw there by lead Nicholas Umbach.
Great setup, putting some pressure on Team McEwen. No, we was.
Sorry, drawing the open side here.
Yeah, we were talking about how events like these, you get to see these teams that don't necessarily travel or go on tour or stuff like that, play these teams that do have that experience. And I'd say so far, this is a really, really great game played by Brent Pierce's team. Just playing a team that's touring and playing as much as McEwen. They've held their weight, and they did not let themselves get intimidated at all.
Oh, absolutely. It's they've done probably more than that. They, the little bit of trouble they got into, they did have a couple of significant misses that were on the wrong sides, and that got them into a little bit of trouble. But other than that, they've been right there. It has been a strange game in the sense, like you say, it's there's been some good shots, been some good ends, but it's been relatively wide open. It hasn't been a really junky game at any point. Even the 3-under was certainly not a whole lot of rocks in play. It just developed in odd ways. So Marsh looking to play the hit here. Even this end, we're only barely halfway through, but we don't know where it'll go yet. But, even if McEwen were able to make this work, run right to the end and scores 2, it's a 2 that kind of doesn't come with a whole lot of corner guards or anything like that. So, but a long way to go here yet. Pierce indicating he wouldn't mind a roll behind these rocks now. Just confirming weight. So Cody Johnson throws what he's expecting.
Yeah, looking to bring play to the center. When you don't have hammer, that's normally the best thing to do. Restrict the scoring area. Make sure that if McEwen does get some points on the board in the 7th end, it's just a 1 or 2 max.
Yeah.
Adversely, Mike McEwen trying to enlarge that scoring area as best as possible, so opting to roll out. Again, this is the fun of curling. You got these 2 skips literally duking it out for control out in the house.
Yeah, good shot. Very, very gentle. The rock gets higher and higher. Pierce could make one good roll here and could change things a lot in this end.
Yeah. I think he'll take a shot at it right now, actually.
Yeah. Makes it hard is you definitely don't want to lose it. You don't want to roll out or anything like that, and you don't want to really roll half the way. So you'd like to either make it or miss it, in the sense that you don't come close to it, because you don't want to leave McEwen a 1-foot roll to go behind or whatever. Matthew Bradford.
Looks like it's over curling already.
Yeah, not going to get the roll. He'll sit right there, maybe roll out a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't do a lot for them, but
no.
With the way McEwen's playing this hand, it might be fine. I don't know if he's going to go. Not going to go around, so he's playing for 2, really. Not really giving any thought to scoring 3, it would appear. Having said that, I don't know that you necessarily want to draw around those rocks. You might have to at some point if you think you want to get 3.
Yeah, I think so. Again, opting for that to keep things as open as possible. I think they're discussing a a hit here on this edge of 12 yellow rock. And that's the call.
This one's going to come really close to rolling out, I think. Can't see really. No, he's right on the nose. It's funny the things you do. I just found myself leaning over to this right so I could see that better. I did that the other day too. A shot. I don't know which it was, but I don't know. Somewhere I was trying to see over something or whatever, and I just kind of.
Yeah, oh, that's funny.
Someday I think technology will be like that, probably with TV, that you can actually have, I don't know, kind of surround look or something to it, whatever.
Yeah, most likely. You know, it's already there with the whole VR, virtual reality stuff. It'll be interesting to see if, you know, how that impacts sports and curling in general. If people can...
Yeah. Matthew Blanford looking to get the roll. Will he get all the way over? Pretty darn good. A few more inches and it would have been really good, but that's not bad.
I'll be honest, I didn't see him roll that far that perfectly, but that's a great throw.
Yeah, it is. So Colton Flash now will be asked to remove that. It certainly can. There's enough room, but it's not a gimme.
Throwing that nice easy hack weight, backline weight.
This looks pretty good. Somebody might want to sweep that on the
they were team. Kind of looking at it.
I guess he's going to hit it anyway, so he doesn't too worried about it. But it was kind of odd. I thought, like, why wouldn't you sweep that a little bit? Like, you might as well be number 2. Anyway. Well, like you say, it's going to play the hits. It doesn't matter. So certainly both teams kind of playing for 2 here. Both teams are playing for McEwen to get 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. 3 more inches on that roll, though, might have changed things for Pierce. But now, just go ahead and get your 2. I found it a bit odd, too, that McEwen really didn't make any effort at getting 3. I don't know exactly what that would have been, but it seemed like the whole end they were pretty happy with 2. And I get that, but most of the time when you're happy with 2 there, you're still thinking, well, if there's an opportunity somewhere, I'm going to try to turn this into 3. But
yeah, we've talked about it, you know, before. We were just talking about it, but it comes down to these skips have a really nice conservative mentality on things. You know, they don't gamble and they play the easy shots, mind you. Not all of them are very, very easy, but at this level they play nice and simple shots that are straightforward, just to limit the score. It's been name of the game so far, really.
Yeah. So nose hit for Brent Pierce. McEwen looking for the same thing.
Yeah, he'll be shot 2 if he can nose this.
Yeah, I think if he noses this, then I think Pierce will take another run at making that roll. He'll be high enough that it'll be difficult if he can make it perfect for McEwen to score 2. But for now, let's see what McEwen does. And switching rocks, he did that a couple hands ago as well.
Yeah. Thinking he has one that he prefers for hits and one that he likes a little more for draws. Maybe one of them is slower than the other one or something.
Yeah. Yeah, either speed's a little bit different or the curl's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Sean Meacham, who plays out of here with Steve Laycock, commented yesterday in the chat that there are some rocks that are not quite matched up here. So,
Right.
Marsh working hard at getting this one to curl. He might have needed a rock that was going to curl more. No, there it goes. Eventually it gets there. Guy's going hard to carve it, and it takes a little while, but then it makes that move. So.
A lot of late finish, but not as much as we saw on Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I know I did a few games earlier in the weekend, and golly, those rocks curled like crazy.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed because I did the event last weekend too, and the ice is good both weeks. We talked about this a number of times now. The ice was very good both weeks. Just last week it didn't have quite that hard finish that we have or did have for most of this event, and still do to a point. But last week it was more of a, the kind of your more typical curling ice where it's sort of a slower curl but a gradual curl, and you might have 4 feet of curl, but it's not, it happens all the way down the sheet kind of thing, so it doesn't have that real finish.
Yeah.
Starting out here, it was very radically different, I thought, from last week. So it was great, and last week was great too. So good job by whoever's doing it all that work here. So Brent Pierce now looking for the hit and roll. Nothing really to lose by going for the roll here. He's going to be close, I'll tell you. It's going to be really close. No, they got to get off it. So close. They just needed to either help it curl a little more or don't hold it from curling, because it definitely had a shot there, I thought. So McEwen with a little tap back for 2 here.
Relatively straightforward. I mean, those guards and those rocks on the other side of center can be threatening, but you just got to tune them out and throw straight to the broom, and it should be a straightforward deuce here.
Well, with almost 1,000 people showing, we only have a few comments in the chat. You guys got to get a little more chatty out there. So far,
feel free to.
The McEwen team has the lead in terms of fan favorites on the chat by a little bit, not by much. So Mike McEwen now looking to make the shot for 2 and take a 1-point lead to the final end, or not the final end necessarily, the 8th end.
Yeah, you never know. We might get some bonus coverage, as you said.
I know.
It's a real
no
close
extra
game.
charge. This is going to be fine.
I'll just walk it down. Yeah. Nice little tap.
Show for Mike McEwen. Hangs on. Score of 2. So as we go to the 8th end of our quarterfinal match between McEwen and Pierce, McEwen will lead 5-4. And Pierce will have hammer. We'll be back right after the break.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
So we're back. 8th end. Brent Pierce, 5-4 deficit, but hammer here in the 8th end. Just a quick update on the other quarterfinals. Matt Dunstone scored 4 in the 6th end to defeat Brad Gushu 7-3. Brad Jacobs leads Ryland Kleiter 7-3 as well in the 7th. Kleiter with hammer in that one. And John Epping leads Cooey 3-2, also in the 7th. Cooey having hammer here in the 7th. So having a little chat here.
Yeah, it's curious to see. You would have thought they would have talked this through before the start of the end, but
yeah, you're right. It's sort of as we talked about earlier, but now this one is certainly very confusing because I figure you had to know you're going to throw a guard, and you have to know they're going to throw a corner. So what it would not have been to talk about before the end, but rather than now. But anyway,
yeah, you can't go wrong with communication, and like we said before, we don't have any time clocks.
Yeah.
So they're just using the best the time to their abilities, I guess.
Well, we got a battle of cheering fans in the chat now. We got up, so it's getting close to being even here.
Yeah, exactly. We see you guys. It's good to see fans cheering on their teams.
Daniel Marsh playing the guard. Respect the discussion. Sort of the one part of the discussion that happens for teams now is like, well, it always did, but in this case, how hard does McEwen want to go to steal this end or to literally force, or do you just get to a point here in a rock or two where you're like, okay, we can run this out? I think if we can just basically make 5 straight takeouts, is that good enough? Well, it might be. So Pierce coming around this on the outturn though. Having said that, that rarely happens anymore, that you can protect a 1-0 lead or 1-point lead just by hitting away with when you don't have hammer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lead Nicholas Umbuck with his second stone here in the 8th end, looking to come right around. Very nicely. I think the front ends on both these teams have very quietly had pretty decent games. You usually notice when they don't. I know even myself with my own teams, sometimes I notice when they play poorly, and I sometimes don't notice or give them enough credit when they play well, because they just do their job. You just don't really notice them. You're never in a massive amount of trouble or anything, and so they're doing their job. Kevin Marsh now will be asked to come right around all of that.
Yeah, you're right. We oftentimes, if our front end's not working too well, we'll notice it, and we'll be the first to talk about it. But a good front end goes unnoticed very easily.
This is going to be short, I believe. And it will.
This is almost the most rocks in play we've seen all game.
Yeah, it might be right. Yeah, quick welcome to everybody that might have been watching one of the other games on our channel. Got a real squeaker going here.
Bit of thinking going on Brent Pierce's side.
You know, this is the first time in the game that McEwen's actually led. Getting that 2-7, just the first time he was actually ahead. He was tied once, or tied a couple times at the start, obviously, but tied in the 5th end, but he hasn't been ahead at all in this game yet.
Yeah. If Brent Pierce...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if he chooses to come in, we'll see. That's more. Yeah, the peel is more what I thought he would be calling. But yeah, if he chose to draw inside, it'd be a little shift of paradigm, I'd say, going a little more offensive. But he opted to peel, keep things nice and simple, straightforward.
Yeah, that may be a good idea. It may not when you're down one, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Cody Johnson, who has some fans in the chat, makes the double peel, roll away to the corner. Leaves the high one, though.
Mm-hmm. Nice shot, really.
Yeah.
Keeps it open, but McEwen probably opting to hit that yellow one. It's also tough for McEwen now because if he really does want to steal that, that center guard is so high up that might even have to throw another one or put something, make some more obstacles for them to hide behind.
Yeah. So the out-turn pick here for Marsh, just picking the yellow out.
I think they want to stick around, which they will.
The only problem here I see here in my mind is that Pierce is probably going to draw now because he kind of has to.
Yeah, or play a little something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I was seeing.
Right.
Either way, you need a rock in play.
Yeah, so it kind of makes me question a little bit whether or not the peel was a great shot before. I know that those guards can put you in trouble, but you still got a guard out there. You still got a red rock here that you're going to deal with now. But anyway, it's just fun to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-turn tap, you can throw this probably just hack weight or so and get a roll behind the corner, though. That would completely change everything.
Definitely.
Cody Johnson with his second here. This could be really good. If he gets enough curl, it's going to be, oh, don't roll too far. Oh, what a great effort that was.
Really close to perfection. 6 inches less, and you had a kind of Christmas tree going for you.
Cody's dad watching back at home was probably like us, just kind of gritting your teeth there, saying don't roll too far. Nice shot by son Cody, though. And the pick here, Colton Flash. Will he get a piece? He will. Will it be enough to get it out? It is not.
Oh, this could change things right here.
Oh, it absolutely changes everything, yeah. So Pierce with a chance to get a second rock in. Just where do you put it? Lots of different options here and lots of different things to consider. I was going to say he could go right around on the intern side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't love that.
No, me neither. That's putting your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's opting for a nice little conversation here again.
Yeah. And do you come around the center guard? Probably going to come around the center guard and leave yours open at the back. But you'll have one buried with now only 3 shots or so to go.
Mm-hmm. It all comes down to this, really.
Very quick. One of our chatters, Matt, says, don't go around the guard. Play an open draw. Play it open now. So he's adamant he doesn't think we should come around this guard. I can figure I think he's coming around some guard. I don't know which guard yet, but I don't see him playing the open draw over by the red rock. I don't have any good reason for not thinking that, or for thinking that, but I don't see that happening. Although if you could sit right on the red, fully in the 12-foot, that's probably not a bad shot.
Yeah, but your tolerance is it's pretty darn low when it comes to freezes like that. You know, you take a little bit, you roll out, and there's a double. You know, it's
well, exactly, yeah, and there's, unless it's set up perfectly, there's, for somebody that can throw it as hard as Flash can throw it, there's doubles probably there no matter what, almost.
That's exactly it.
You know.
So, I think he is coming around a guard somewhere. Opting for that really wide draw. We've seen it a few times this weekend, actually. A draw this wide. Used to, I don't know, not see it as much. I don't know if that's just me. But,
well, I think... sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think in curling clubs, usually, ice gets scary out here once you get past the middle of the 12-foot stuff and you're not quite sure what's going to happen. It's quite often heavy and everything else. But here, that hasn't been the case. I would probably like to see him take a little tiny bit more ice than that, though, because I feel like you've got to make sure you get by. And McEwen's not playing the one in the house or the one out here anyways. I think he's got enough room.
Should be fine. Issue is weight, I think.
I think he's by. Now can he get it to stop?
Yeah.
Needs to get it to stop. It's going to stop. But another one that I think Brent probably should have taken that back a little bit further.
Yeah.
I think that double is just a little bit harder. It's not an easy double, but we see these guys make these doubles all the time. If you take that back into the 12-foot, then the double becomes really difficult, and McEwen can't play the slash double, so I think you could take that back right to where, as long as it was still second shot.
I don't disagree. That's true.
So Jacobs ends up winning his game 9-3 over Ryan Kleider.
Yeah, welcome to everybody coming from that game. If we have a few more viewers, we're up to 1.5K. It's good to see some fans.
So a sort of lightweight double attempt by Colton Flash, or a hit and roll, one of the two. This is going to go over the top, but where will it go? It ends up perfect.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. Very good shot. Yeah, I just think that was a little bit of a lax in concentration there by the Pierce team and not taking that rock back further. Even Matt, that if if they'd taken that back further and Flash had made that same roll and froze on the stone, then they could ignore it all and come around the corner and be shot rock. So just unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. There's no getting rid of this stone now. It's so locked in. Thinking you'll maybe even come around the center. I'm not sure. Matt making a case for the open hit on Pierce's shot 2 rocks ago, or 1 rock ago. Definitely could have been a shot. I guess it's just a way to keep it a little more open. and then keep your possibilities a little more wide, I guess. The draw is definitely a little more restrictive once you come around. You're definitely getting play behind the guards like we see here, and yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you got to come around that center guard. It's so long though. I don't know for sure if it's good or not, and I think I got to come around on the out turn slide. I don't know what you're gonna gain by hitting anything. Like even the top one here. What I guess if you could run it right back onto the red and stick it right there, I guess that would be gives you a potential for the next shot. But man, that would be like grasping at straws. I don't see that working well. Kui and Epping in a similar situation to us right now, where Kui has hammer down 1 to John Epping. And I can just about guarantee there'll be a lot of rocks in play in that end. Tough decision here for Team Pierce. 3 to come. McEwen with 2 and Pierce with 3. That was such a good shot by Colton Flash. I thought they were playing it like with a big weight double kind of thing, and they really didn't. They just played the weight that actually would have made the double probably if it had hit it directly on, but the option of ending up with what they had, and that's probably just as good or better than the double. So.
Yeah, I think you're definitely playing a score. That's your biggest problem right now. You really can't give a steal up. So I don't know. I don't mind coming around that center. Maybe.
So
if we might even see a peel here. If
you're running this yellow, I guess my question is why and what changes with it if you do it. I guess it opens up. It does open up the outturn draw to the back red. And that might be something that Pierce would be able to use on his first shot, maybe. So I'm not even sure exactly where he's trying to get this. I'm thinking he would line it up on this red one at the back, but
yeah, he makes it perfect. And I mean, it's such a tough shot, but if he sees it. Not coming out with a missile here.
No. He wants to roll the shooter to the right side as we look at it here. So gotta curl a little bit more.
Wow, he might make this.
This is a great shot. Holy cow. Unlucky. That was really unlucky that didn't stay right on the nose of that red stone.
Wow, let's take a look at that again. That's beautiful. I mean, just well managed by the whole team here. Nice and easy weight, not too much. But look how long this rock has to go.
Yeah.
This is pinpoint accuracy. They threw the right weight for it. And
there's another half inch, and it's sealed right on there.
Yeah.
A great shot. So obviously wide open. McEwen will have no problem removing it. Just got to figure out where he wants to go once he does.
Yeah, and that's McEwen's issue. I mean, we just talked about Pierce's priorities, but McEwen has to, either limit them to 1 here or steal. So I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking he'll hit it. Most likely. But where does he want to roll?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the out-turn draw around the corner is obviously not there now. When Matthew Blanford's almost made a pistol there, his rock didn't roll very far away, which is, you had to try one or the other. So I don't know where McEwen will want to go. I think he goes to the left, right behind the corner. I don't know which way is the right way to go, really.
Mm-hmm.
Can be behind the tee line. Certainly going to be available to Pierce to use in some form or fashion.
Well, we were talking about it all game, how it was such a close game and so neck and neck. But we might end up seeing another end here.
I think there's a very good chance of that happening right now. You're right. The guard's so high that for both teams, for Mike and for Brent, coming around the guard is not, and coming back to these rocks is just not beneficial at all. So still haven't 100% decided what they're doing here.
Yeah, lots of thinking going on. Definitely capitalizing on the fact they're not timed here.
So McEwen now looking to remove the yellow. And I think he's looking to either stay right there or roll behind the corner. I don't think he's trying to roll behind the center. Out there a little bit. Just by that guard. Everything's going to go here. Oh, not everything, but... So that might have been exactly what Mike had in mind, to be honest. Just not leave any backing there at all for Pierce.
Yeah, I think that was the called shot.
Yeah. Came pretty close to that high guard, though, didn't it?
It did, and they didn't seem too worried.
Much.
Yeah, they didn't seem too worried about it. No. So, Brent Pierce here, trying to figure out a way how he could win the game flat out right now. If he could get a skipper's deuce, I think that'd be your best.
Yeah.
Best outcome.
Just don't know if you can get to where he's got the broom there.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you the same thing. I don't know if the draw's there. You got to skinny both guards almost.
Yeah, the yellow one's just so high. It's probably still a bit in the way.
Yeah.
You can probably go through and move it. Like you can probably go through and not quite draw weight and then hope you're in a good enough spot. But I don't know.
Yeah, my guess you need, just past T-line-ish.
Yeah. I think the problem here for Brent is I think he realizes if he comes around the center guard, almost no matter what he does, McEwen could probably remove it. He's going to take a crack at it.
Yeah. From where he put the broom down, I'm thinking he will throw a little more than draw weight.
Yeah. It can't be much more, though, because if he throws much more at all, then the problem is he takes it out, but he rolls just right into the hole that McEwen just hit the other rock. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem, as I see it, at least. So. So Brent Pierce has had a very good game. Looking to make another good shot here. He's had a couple perfect draws. This is just probably a hair above draw weight. It's probably back eight. Back eight probably does the trick. It's just the stagger on these guards is just really difficult. It's on its way.
Got to get close to that top one.
He is going to be. I think he's going to be okay for line. Now, can they make it curl? Can they make it curl enough to be buried in there? And they can. That is a great shot. A great shot by Brent Pierce. Actually made that easier than I think we probably thought, Olivier.
Yeah, definitely. That looked like kind of a breeze, and with the perfect weight too. So that's a misjudge on our part, I think.
Yeah.
McEwen just saw Brent Pierce do it. Hoping to do the exact same thing. Get shot one and then start to get ready for what might be another end.
Yeah, and McEwen needs to do the same thing in the sense that he needs to not roll off either. So he has to get as close to the nose of that as he can.
That's exactly it.
A little bit of room. So it's if he does get to the nose and taps, who knows? There might be just enough room for Pierce to slide it sideways or tap it out. But let's worry about that one once we see where this one comes to rest. So Mike McEwen with a must-have shot here on his last rock in the 8th end. Facing one Pierce stone. Up one at this point.
I apologize for the technical difficulties here on the camera.
But it wasn't just me. The Gus one's got to get off the guard. I can't see. He's not. He's not going to get off that front guard. No way, I don't think. And Brent Pierce will have a draw to the 8-foot, a little bit better than 8-foot, for the win. After a great first shot by Pierce.
Well, he throws the same weight, and he's got it.
He does. He's made every draw that I think he's thrown today, he's made. So if that matters, he should be pretty good shape for this one. Got to get the heart rate down, breathe properly, and he's got a lot of experience to draw on. So he's got a couple of powerhouse guys on the front end, like every other team does nowadays. But anyway, so the in-turn draw for the win for Brent Pierce. He needs a little better than full 8-foot. Probably be trying to put it right on the button and with a flash. But the pre-shot routine is pretty much the same. Doesn't vary much. And it's on its way. Sweepers brooms down. Going a little bit. Just got to wait on it. It's got to come off the outside rock. Got to come off that red rock. Is it going to get off? It looks like it will just barely get off that outside red. And that'll be good enough for the win for Brent Pierce. As he scores 2 in end number 8 to defeat Mike McEwen 6-5 in the quarterfinal game here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. A great game for Team Pierce. They got McEwen when he was a little bit off early in the game and then managed to win it at the end. Terrific effort on their part. What do you think, Olivier? Pretty good game.
Definitely a great game. I mean, we saw both teams try and battle it out. We had some struggles from both teams, but overall, Brent Pierce and his foursome just really making the shots that mattered, and they were good enough to beat McEwen. So now they have, I think, about an hour to get ready for their next semifinal. So hopefully they can keep that streak going.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a great morning. And we look forward to joining you again for the semifinals here. And like Olivier said, about 1 hour or so before the semifinals. That's about it. So from the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, I'm Jen Nix. For Olivier and I, we'll say goodbye for now.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency. It is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Slanted, so be it.